No strangers folk. People are odd, you know. One day they might be asked, do you want to live more sustainably? And they say, yes, I do. The following day, they might get told that it might be a good idea for them to make a few sacrifices in their life so they can reach those goals. Then that day, they stick their head in the sand and they do not want to know. They go, no, I do not want to know. No strangers folk. Well, the shocking truth is that the changes that we could make are quite considerable without any real detriment. As in the way we wouldn't actually lose money, we'd actually save money. This is one thing we could all do that wouldn't cost us anything. And yet, we still did not want to give up. Well, the shocking truth about fast fashion. It's unbelievable. We consume around, 80-odd billion pieces of clothing every year. And these figures are from back in 2019. It's probably more now. But did you know that 85% of all clothing consumed ends up in landfill? Probably on an African continent or somewhere. Or Asia or somewhere. Instead of actually going to those people who actually really need it. Reuse and all that. Or even upcycling. Now, people don't want to give up on their ability to buy stuff that they don't need. We do it every single day. We buy food that we don't really need. That's why we're fat. We buy clothing we don't really need. And that is what I want to talk about, fast fashions. Now, textile production contributes more to climate change, this is shocking, this is, than aviation and shipping combined. Remember, obviously, shipping and aviation's involved in the fast fashions. And I'm not talking about stewardesses either, no. Now, just one white cotton shirt, okay, produces the same amount of emissions as driving 35 miles in a car. 35 miles in a car. And by 2030, global clothing consumption is projected to rise by 63%. 63%! So some people like 150 billion, and you see, every single year. And 62 million tonnes today to 102 million tonnes, equivalent to more than 500 billion additional t-shirts. 500 billion additional t-shirts that we probably don't need. And let's be honest, if you're going in places like Primark and Zara and all those sort of crappy old shops, just because they're cheap, and that's H&M and all that, because it's cheap, get a t-shirt for like 99p or whatever it is, or 1.99, which quite frankly are too short, and quite frankly are made from a tube which is all stretchy and horrible, and put them in the wash and they no longer fit you. It's just rubbish. And my dear wife was buying me loads of stuff from Primark every time she went back to the UK, bring it back, what have you, put me here for work again. I can only wear them for about a couple of weeks and they're crap. They're no good. They're absolute rubbish. There's no sustainability in it because obviously they're crap. And no wonder we're buying so many clothes is because they fall to pieces. And then you've got all these influencers out there, buying these items from these type of stores, telling all these youngsters this is what you need to buy. And what they do, they buy it, wear it once and shove it in the drawer somewhere or in the wardrobe or in a carrier bag, never to be seen again. Until they decide, oh, that's out of fashion now, I don't want it anymore. It's just ridiculous. And it's contributing to microplastics through washing alone in the sea. Every time you get a new shirt or something like that, you get a certain amount of fibres come off when they're new. More than obviously when they get a bit older. So, when they're new, and that ends up in the watercourse. A lot of that ends up in the sea. We're talking microplastics, which ends up in the food sources that we eat. Fish, for instance. Live bivalve mollusks, they must be full of this shit. Well, they probably are, but anyway. That's another story. So, the fashion industry is responsible for 10% of all global carbon emissions. That is massive. Massive. And yet no one's talking about it. They tell us that we've got to go and buy electric cars and what have you, which I'm all for. Even though I ain't got one because I can't afford one. But anyway, I'm all for it. But they also have a detrimental environmental impact. There's no getting away from it. Disposal of them. The mining of the minerals and what have required to make the batteries, etc., etc. But the rare earth magnets. It's an hypocrisy as well, isn't it? It really is an hypocrisy. Because we're all looking at carbon emissions and we see it. We see it with diesel cars. We can see what's coming out of the exhaust. But we don't think about the stuff that we're wearing. Now, if we, for instance, had our clothing and it lasted, say, 9 months, okay, we actually wore it for 9 months, it reduced the impact by 30%. That's huge and all. Let's say 10% impact, that'd be what? 30% or so, well, no, around 7%. It's just nuts. And yet nobody's talking about it. I know I get on a bit of rant about these sort of things, but it's just slapping straight in the face, but no one's actually noticing it. And you know what the definition of an idiot is? It's somebody who makes the same mistake again and again and again. Oh, I've done it, I'm sure you've done it. But, actually, I probably haven't, actually, to be fair. I'm no fashion guru. Can you tell? So clothing companies create more than 1 million garments. 1 million garments every single day. And 85% says 850 garments every single day ending up in landfill. It's crazy. And they reckon it's going to grow by 50% by 2030. And extending the life, like I say, by about 9 months, could save waste footprints by 30-odd%. So this is nuts. In fast fashion, clothes are produced in high volume, which means a high cost to the planet, 10% global CO2 emissions, and are caused by the textile industry. Now, what about the pollutants as well? If you're getting stuff from China and India, I can't remember the name of that river, but there's a river in India that is literally foam, got pink foam all over it. And that is from the dyeing. Now, I know that Primark and various others have signed up to this fair wage and all that site and what have you. But the thing is, they've got no control of how this stuff is manufactured. A lot of the dyeing is done by little backstreet vendors. Yeah, little manufacturing plants, big vats, and there they are shoving their hands in. No health and safety whatsoever. And they tip it all out and what have you, and it just ends up in the watercourse. And it's poisoning the cattle. And the people. It's rivers. I can't remember the name of the river. Just look it up. River in India, pink foam, and you'll find it. It is terrible. And they actually have like ceremonies and what have you, and weddings where they go in there and dunk themselves in all this poison. It's literally poison. The chemicals used in dyeing garments are toxic. Just nuts. So about 300,000 tonnes of clothing end up in household bins every year, with around 20% going to landfill and 8% is incinerated. Oh yeah, that's a great idea too. Oh dear me. And the same report explains that while incineration of unsold stock recovers some energy from the products. What these products contain, it's emissions again, isn't it? It's just nuts. It multiplies the climate impact of the product by generating further emissions and air pollutants, toxins. We're just killing ourselves, people. We really are. This list goes on and on and on. We need to be more aware of what we're wearing and wear it for longer. It will make a massive difference. But will we? No. The next sale, I've got to buy a load of shit I don't need. It's human nature, it seems. This is madness. Absolute madness. 80 billion items a year. And and 85% is going into landfill or incineration. It's nuts. Anyway, what do you reckon? Leave it in the comments down below. Consumerism. That's the word, isn't it? Consumerism. And that goes across the board with everything that we buy. Very little of it is ethical. It's just nuts. You know, I bought a shit I don't need. You know, we all do it. Anyway, if you're support the channel, do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee. And the links are down below. But also, we are doing a rewarding here. Because we like trees. Also, we like to do our bit. And also, we like to provide habitats for little, the birds and the bees and the honeysuckle trees. What are they called honeysuckle trees? Honeysuckle's not a tree. It's a climber. Is there a honeysuckle tree? I should know. It's a woodworker. But anyway, so it's just nuts. Anyway, if you want to be part of that, there's a GoFundMe link down below where we'll plant a tree on your behalf and put a sign with the tree with your name on or in memory of a loved one. They're physical signs to start with, as in just in the ground with the tree until the tree matures, and then we'll be placing them in the tree once the trees can sustain the weight of the sign and what have you. And that's kind of the plan. If you'll be part of that, like I say, there's a GoFundMe link down below. And it's time for me to go and just facepalm, I suppose. It's just, what the fuck is going on? Oh, the hell? Did I swear? Oh, I did. Oh, I do apologise. Oh, nods.